39. How to live with yourself. Part 5. Borrowed property. December the 8th, 1953. Good morning, friends. We took a look last week at the people who try to be a modern atlas, persons who try to carry the weight of the whole world on their shoulders. The foolishness of such burden carrying is this: someone who is fully capable already carries the weight of the world, even Jesus Christ, and he needs none of our help. You and I mess up our lives whenever we take control, and whatever good there is in us is the Lord's mercy. It makes sense to stop trying to carry the world's burdens and ours, and to surrender them to the Lord. He has done so well with everything else, and can do the same for us when we give him full control of our lives. This morning, as we continue this discussion of how to live with ourselves, let's continue this matter of borrowed property. There have been a few occasions when I have found it necessary to drive a borrowed car. Once it was an old jalopy, another time a new car such as I never expect to own. In every case, I felt an extra responsibility in my driving. I took pains to be more than careful, knowing that I had to return the car to its rightful owner in good shape. It's the same way with a borrowed house. We treat the dishes with extra care, give the house a very careful cleaning, buy a present or two so that we can turn the place back to its owner with thanks and in better than usual condition. If anything goes wrong with the borrowed house, we feel fearfully responsible. I remember that 2 years ago, when my wife was staying in someone else's beautiful and newly papered home, our little Sharon took a Crayola and went all around the living room walls with it. There was some hard work done in the hour that remained before the housewife returned home to remove every trace of the childish artwork. Borrowed property involves a very real responsibility. What belongs to someone else we can treat only as they please, or else we feel a guilty responsibility for our waywardness. When we have mistreated someone's property, we dread facing them with the sad news of our neglect and irresponsibility. And that's why most people are afraid to meet God. They know they have mistreated his property. What is God's property? Well, it's your life and mine, our bodies, minds and souls. He lent them to us. He's going to take them back someday, and we know that we have abused his property. The tragedy of most men is that they try to steal God's property and treat it as their own. The Greek myth of Minos is a telling indictment of such attempts. Poseidon gave Minos a gift, which was to be returned to him as a sacrifice, but Minos fell in love with it and retained it. The result was the ruin of his home, the birth of a monster, the Minotaur, and eventually Minos' own ruin. The ancient Greeks knew that when a man withholds from God what belongs to him, he invites a sure and certain ruin. What they did not know was that the way that a man could return God's property to him, the Greeks could only see life as a tragedy, with man, the thief, finding constant ruin in his attempt to seize and hold God's property. As Christians, we recognize our basic depravity and selfishness. We realize that we have marred God's gift, our life, and that we have no natural desire to restore this property to its rightful owner. We also know that Jesus Christ does in us that which we cannot do of ourselves. We therefore ask him to come in and do the house cleaning, so that when the Lord of the house returns, we can return him his property in approved condition. And day by day, we treat our lives with care and respect, knowing that they are not our own and that we are responsible for them. Moreover, we know from our Lord's teaching that he expects a return on his investment. He gives us a talent and expects us to return to him 5 or 10 in its place, declaring, "I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I did not scatter." Matthew 25:26 ASV. He will not be satisfied with a mere return of what he has lent to us. It's easy to see from all this that the Lord demands a higher rate of interest than anyone else. As a result, we cannot treat his property and his investment casually and be able to live at peace with ourselves. Any man who abuses God's property and fails to return him a good rate of interest on his investment is slated for trouble and distress. Thus, your life is God's property, and you owe him a high rate of interest on it. You can live with yourself only if you have a clear conscience about this borrowed property, your life. Begin each day with God by submitting your life into his hands and asking him to live and work in you. As John Calvin stated it, "It is the duty of believers to present their bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God. This is the only true worship. We are not our own, therefore let us forget ourselves and our own interests as far as possible, but we are God's own. To him, therefore, let us live and die. We are God's own, therefore let his wisdom and will dominate all our actions. We are God's own, therefore let every part of our existence be directed towards him as our only legitimate goal.